So I think at this point in my career, every single athlete that has ever walked into my office in one way, shape, or form wanted to be more confident. And this is a huge topic that's been talked about a ton in the sports psychology and the mental performance space, across the internet, across social media. And yet, unfortunately, what I see a lot of what's put out there for athletes to see doesn't actually work, doesn't actually help them build lasting confidence. So today, we're going to talk about the biggest fatal flaw that I see when athletes and performers and how they think about confidence and how that actually keeps them from being confident. We're also going to talk about how should we be thinking about confidence. And then lastly, we're going to put some things in place to help you immediately walk away from this video being able to create lasting, consistent confidence that actually helps you perform better. Today, we're going to get better. All right, before we dive in, if you're new here and you're looking for the best mental performance tools, advice, and tactics, then make sure that you hit that subscriber button and that notification bell so that way you'll be notified the next time that I post a video just like this one. It also goes a really long way in supporting the channel, so I just really appreciate it. I also have a free gift for you today for stopping by the channel. How cool is that? If you're an athlete or you have an athlete that could use a boost in their ability to prepare for their next competition or their next big moment, do me a favor, get over to my website, trainwithpert.com/free guide. I've got a free guide over there, and what it is that if you were to come to me into my office and say, Jay, I've got a big performance coming up, I need some help, what are some simple things that I can do? Those answers, the answers to that test, are found in that free guide. So again, trainwithpert.com/free guide. So this topic of confidence actually hits pretty close to home for me because I just finished up working with an athlete who was having a really hard time in this area of their mental game. He was having a really hard time being confident and bringing the best version of himself to his performances on that day. And I could not be more proud of this individual and the transformation that he was able to make. And it really is a testament to his ability to learn and understand and install the exact same concepts that we are going to be talking about today. The reason that I bring that up, if you're someone watching this or who's an athlete and you're struggling with confidence, or you're a parent or a coach and one of your athletes you feel like isn't as confident as they could be, I want you to understand there's absolutely a pathway forward. Let's dive in. Let's get you guys the help that you need, the help that's going to actually work for you. Let's get after it. All right, so let's start with this fatal flaw that I alluded to in the beginning that I see so many athletes and performers have in their mindset that actually keeps them from being confident. It always starts with the mindset. And that fatal flaw is believing fundamentally that confidence is a feeling or a belief in something, and that without that feeling or those beliefs, that they are then not confident. Unfortunately, this is also how I see confidence taught a lot. And the fundamental issue that I have with this, the fundamental issue that I have with the teaching an athlete that confidence is a feeling or that it's a belief is what happens on days where we don't necessarily feel that way that day. What happens when we find ourselves in situations where we don't necessarily have that just intangible belief? What do they do then? Well, what the majority of athletes then try to do, because of what's being taught, is they try to do anything in their power to chase that feeling, to chase that belief, to try and trick themselves that they don't feel the way that they actually do on that day. So you'll hear things like, fake it till you make it. Just try and think positive. And the only reason that they're doing that is because they're spending all of their time and all of their mental energy to just try and chase a feeling. My question to those athletes is simply, why? Why do you need to feel or believe anything in order to do the things that you need to be able to do to be successful? Well, the answer is that you don't. There's not a single person alive that needs to feel or needs to believe anything in order to take the actions that they need to to help them find success. But that's exactly the fatal flaw. That's exactly what athletes believe. They believe that the only way that they can be okay in a situation, that the only way that they can do the things that they need to do and be okay and be successful is if they feel a certain way. Now that's broken and backwards for a few reasons, the biggest of which is that that's not even what confidence is actually intended to mean. That's what Google will tell us. If you Google the word confidence, Google will tell you that confidence means a belief or a feeling in oneself. It will define it as a feeling or a belief. I'm here to tell you, Google is wrong. That dictionary definition and how we have come to define confidence is actually not what the word originally was intended to mean in the first place. To uncover that original intention of the word confidence, we have to take a look at the Latin roots of the word, because English, like so many other languages, including Spanish, is a Latin-based language. So let's put confidence underneath the microscope, break it down into its Latin roots, see what those actually mean, and let's see if our definition, that dictionary definition of the word confidence, let's see if that lines up with what the word was actually intended to mean in the first place when it was invented. So when breaking down confidence, the first Latin word that comes up is con, the C-O-N. Con means with. For those of you who have taken a Spanish class, you immediately recognize con equals with. Now, the fidens portion of the word confidence comes from the Latin word fidelis. Now, for those of you who have a military background or you come from a military family, especially the Marine Corps, you immediately recognize this word, semper fidelis. Fidelis in Latin means loyal or authentic. So confidence literally translates to with loyalty or with authenticity. Now, let me give you three options and you let me know which one fits the best with the actual Latin translation of the word confidence. So our options are to believe with loyalty or authenticity, to feel with loyalty or authenticity, or to act with loyalty or authenticity. And if you agree with me, and if you agree with so many others that I've explained this to, that to act with loyalty or authenticity is the absolute best fit, then I want you to write ACT, A-C-T, down in the comments section, because hear me out here. Confidence is an action. There are two massive concepts that I want you to walk away from today's video with. The first is that confidence is absolutely an action. And I really want you to think about this here, because how do we define people that we see in our day-to-day lives as confident? Do we define them by how they feel or by what they believe? Well, I doubt any of us have developed the ability to read minds, so no, we don't define people. We don't judge people that we meet as being confident or unconfident by what they feel or by what they believe. We define them as being confident by what we see them do, by the actions that they're able to take. One thing I always remind athletes or teams when I'm working with them on this idea and we're having this conversation, I remind them that never throughout the course of human history has there been a person that has been defined by how they feel or by what they believe. Every single person throughout the course of human history has been defined by what they do, because we are not as people. We are not defined by how we feel. We're not defined by what we believe. We're defined by the actions that we take. So let's apply this to a very real life example. It has been estimated that 70% of the world's population has some fear or some anxiety when it comes to public speaking. I'm one of those people. The worst grade that I got in college was a darn public speaking class. The absolute worst grade that I got was a public speaking course. So it's safe to say that anybody that you have ever seen on a YouTube video, a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, anybody that's ever given you a presentation, it is safe to say that that person at one time or another probably either doesn't feel confident necessarily, doesn't have those feelings or the belief, or at one time they didn't either. But yet somehow they have found a way to still do the things that they need to do. Somehow, I am still moving my mouth and producing words that make sense to you and that's conveying a strong message. How do we do that? Well, they probably started by outlining and preparing their presentation. And as they did this, they started to feel more confident. Then they started to practice and rehearse, repetition, practiced and rehearsed this presentation over and over again. And all of a sudden, more feelings and more beliefs started to show up. Then when it came time to give this presentation, they did everything in their power and directed their mental energy on solely just the execution of that plan. And they got through their presentation, and how do you think they felt? They probably felt pretty confident. And that leads me to the second biggest concept that I need you to take away from today. The actions of confidence will always come before the feeling of confidence. I'm going to say that again. The actions of confidence will always come before the feeling of confidence. And if confidence is an action and we can either choose or not choose to take the actions that we need to be more confident, all of a sudden we realize something. We realize that confidence is inherently a choice because it is our choice as people. It is our choice as performers. It is our choice as athletes to take the actions when it comes time to perform or even before the performance. It is our choice as athletes and performers and people to take the actions necessary that line up with the most loyal and the most authentic version of ourselves. And if we do that, then we are by definition being confident. And even more so, even beyond that, if we choose to do that, if we choose to take those confident actions, all of a sudden, all those feelings of confidence and the beliefs that we so desperately desired in the first place, all of a sudden they start to show up. All right, if you enjoyed the video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. It goes a long way to helping this video get seen by other people that need it. Also, make sure that you hit that subscriber button and that notification bell so you know the next time that I drop a video just like this one. And of course, make sure that you get over there to trainwithkurt.com and get your hands on that completely free guide that's gonna help you perform and bring the best, most confident version of yourself into your next big moment. I'll see you next time.